Jane and Christian, who's not here, and all of the choir members, and for such a fabulous concert yesterday. It was one that warmed my heart and brought me to tears several times, particularly as we sang Silent Night. It's just one of those. So each one of us brings a separate truth when we come here. We bring the truth of our own life, our own story. We don't come as empty vessels. We come as full embodied people, each with our own story and each with our own truth. We seek to add to our truths and to add to our stories. And so we are rich with truth, rich with experience, rich with story. All manner of people are gathered here today, the needy ones, the joyful ones, the frightened ones, the anxious ones, and the bored ones. No matter who you are, we all bring our truth into this space here. And we take time each week to honor the truths that we all bring as we gather together. Together, we have many truths. Together, we have a story. Together, we are a community. We have a very special prelude in place for you, so get ready.
I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. And 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 I am light. I am light. I am not mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. And I am light. 'Cause I am light. I am light. And I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star piece of it all. I am light.
And then we have to speak after that. Thank you, Sheila. I'm Reverend Deborah Falk, and I use she, her pronouns. In this second week of Advent, we take time to remember that Advent is about waiting, a time set apart simply to wait, to be present to the possibility of a new story being written in our lives. Last week, we lit our first Advent candle in the spirit of hope. Today, we light a second candle, a candle of love. As this season of sparkle and bright unfolds around us, the welcome beauty of love is found. It's found woven into the simplicity of every moment. May love flow from our hearts with abundance, filling every moment with the season's gift of hope and peace and joy. May it be shared truly and deeply, that all who encounter it be charged with its message and become themselves agents of love. And may our children who love without reckoning teach us the truth of this most precious gift. We are nothing without each other. Let us live then in the blessing of love. May love light the world this Christmas. We light our chalice this morning and one to go downstairs as a reminder to let love shine through us in these dark days. Let us hold ourselves and one another in love. Let us shine the light of love. And let us lift our voices in song as we sing our opening hymn, number 55, Dark of Winter. The words will be projected for you, and I invite you to rise in spirit.
Ease my mind.
Today is a special day. We have Reverend Deborah here, we have Reverend Smai here, we have Jane here, and as we're talking about a celebration as we wait for the light, I can't think of a better way to be filled with light on this awesome, awesome Sunday and wonderful people all around. So thank you so much for being here this morning. I'm jazzed. I'm Sheila McMaster, Director of Religious Education, and my pronouns are she and her. And yes, we're going to be thinking about celebration and light today. And I thought, how do we bring light into our lives? And I thought, sometimes you have to catch it. And so I have a story for all of you, How to Catch a Star by Oliver Jeffers. Once there was a boy, and the boy loved stars very much. And every night the boy watched the stars from his window and wished he had one of his very own. And he dreamed how the star might be his friend, and they would play hide-and-go-seek and take long walks together. And the boy decided he would try and catch a star. And he thought about getting up early in the morning would be best, because then the star would be tired from being up all night in the sky. So the next day he set out at sunrise, but he couldn't see a star anywhere, and he sat down and waited for one to appear. And he waited, and he waited, and he ate some lunch, and he waited, and after dinner he waited some more. And finally, just before the sun was about to go away, he saw a star. And the boy tried to jump up and grab it, but he couldn't jump up high enough. And so very carefully, he climbed to the top of the tallest tree he could find. Oh, but the star was still too far out of reach. And he thought he might lasso the star with a little belt from his father's boat, but it was much too heavy for him to carry. And he thought he could fly up in his spaceship and just grab the star, but his spaceship had run out of petrol last Tuesday when he flew to the moon. And perhaps he could get a seagull to help him fly up into the sky to reach his star, but the only seagull he could find didn't want to help at all. And the boy thought he would never catch a star. And then he noticed something floating in the water. It was the prettiest star he had ever seen, just a baby star, and it must have fallen from the sky. And he tried to fish the star out with his hands, but he couldn't reach it. And then he had an idea. The star might wash up on shore. He ran back along the jetty to the beach, and he waited, and he walked, and he watched, and he waited. And sure enough, the star washed up on a bright golden sand. The boy had caught a star of his very own. The end. And so this week's challenge is to look for the light in your own life and chase down that star. And if you can't quite catch it, make your own. Have coffee out with a friend, check out the zoo lights, or there's the free spectacular lights out in Airdrie, or even just take a thermos of hot chocolate to the park and watch the squirrels and birds this week. Because the children and youth are going to make their own star crafts to take home, along with a kindness advent calendar. So it's 12 days of how to be kind, get in that good, naughty and nice list. We're helping them build up the nice list so they get the presents on Christmas. And Ogmandino says, I will love the light, for it shows me the way, and yet I will endure the darkness, because it shows me the stars. And now please join me as we sing the light of our own flame downstairs to the children and youth.
Spring forth into the world. May your heart
It is such an honor and a delight, a privilege and a blessing to be with you this morning. And we offer the gift of our presence to one another. Our support is expressed in many ways in the building, sustaining, and flourishing of this beloved community. We create the opportunity during our services for a very concrete way to express our generosity and gratitude through the giving and receiving of the financial offering. In addition to supporting the ongoing expenses, half of the unidentified and all of the specifically identified offering is shared, given away through the For Others program. I always appreciated this congregation dedicating For Others in December to the Ministerial Discretion Fund, a resource for the minister to be able to offer financial support to congregational members and beyond. It is used to see folks through, see them through a hard time, and to assure that everyone can participate, including those with little or no disposable income, to sometimes cover costs for program fees or providing a gratis ticket to an event. I can recall when I was here helping to avoid evictions and the cancellation of various services for people, of providing co-op cards to offer a little assistance to those knocking on the door and give a hand up, of other members witnessing their fellow congregants in hard times and wanting to make a donation and being able to do so anonymously through the Ministerial Discretionary Fund, and purchasing wool for the caring shawls that are knitted for those who couldn't afford to buy wool but wanted to be able to give. The Ministerial Discretionary Fund also affirms a deep trust in your minister's discretion. This is a resource for the minister to express the congregation's care, concern, and kindness. Please be as generous as you are able, knowing that it touches many lives. And we have wonderful occasional singers joining us this morning who will offer the Solstice Carol while the offering is being taken.
All who need comfort are welcome by Him.
we are blessed. We are blessed with such fabulous, talented people in this congregation. That was just gorgeous. Thank you so much. And you might have noticed a little bit around, you're learning a little bit about how I am around the holidays, in that I need music to see me through the holidays. And this is a congregation where that happens. To be a human being alive in this world is to experience both the joys and the sorrows of life. It's one of the reasons why I keep telling you, have a spiritual practice that develops your muscles to hold both the deep pain and the incredible joy of what it means to live in this world. Each week, we take time to honor the events in our lives that shape who we are, the stories that we tell, and how we respond to the world. And we do this because each person in this community has value. I want to repeat that. You matter. If nothing else, take that home. You matter to this world. You matter to this community. And so I'm going to light one candle. A candle in recognition of the sorrow that comes into each person's life. And it is when we come together in community that we offer support to one another in such times. And that was a candle lit in recognition of the joy and the delight that is in our lives. And it is in being in community that we can share our delight and our joy in the world and have it witnessed. That was a candle for global concern, a candle for all of the Indigenous people in the world who are living with the effects of climate change. Lorraine Netro, an elder from the Vuntut Gitchuan First Nations, who's attending COP28 in Dubai right now, tells us that there is not enough time in the day to explain how much damage is being caused by climate change. Just sit with that for a moment. As we move into our meditation, we'll listen to some contemplative words. Sit together in silence for about 2 minutes. And that beautiful chant, Walking With You, is how we'll come out of that. Jane is going to lead you through the zipper songs. You just need to follow along. So now, let us enter into a time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer. The bonds in this community that we share this day is sacred, just as all gatherings are when people meet and touch and celebrate life. The laughter that we share with one another on this day is sacred. The joy and the sorrow that we feel that rise up come from love, and they are springs of life for us. The stillness we share this day is sacred. Its peace is a haven for the spirit that nurtures life. For the bonds of community, for the joy and the sorrow, for the comfort of quietness. Let us be ever grateful and ever caring. let us enter the reverent space of silence.
Waiting, waiting, waiting with you. Waiting with you is my prayer. Singing, singing, singing with you. Singing with you is my prayer. Walking, walking, walking with you. Walking with you is my prayer.
It's one of the things I love about being a human being and looking at how human beings live their life in the world is that we have an innate curiosity about the way the world works and what our place in it is. How many of you have been like that little boy in the story looking for the star, trying to catch the star? As a young child myself, I often spent many nights looking at the night star, trying to figure out what my place was in the world. And I have to say that when I did it, it was a humbling experience. I felt so small in the vastness of the world. And I wonder what it must have been like for the ancients as they stared up into that night sky and what they all thought of how the world worked. My mind goes there more often at this time of year than any other. And so today we're going to turn the attention of our minds and our hearts to focus in on waiting for the light. And I've already alluded to this earlier, we're going to be having this service punctuated by various choral pieces from our occasional singers who have been gathered together just for this occasion, as well as a couple of poems that I've thrown in there. And so with that, let's start with our first musical interlude, All Through the Night.
Sleep, my child, and please attend me all through the night. I who love you shall be near you all through the night. Soft the drowsy hours are sleeping, you and Bill in slumber sleeping. I my loving vigil keeping all through the night. Father, I can feel you near me all through the night. Father, I know you can hear me all through the night. And when I am your age nearly, still I will remember clearly how you sang and held me dearly all through the night. While the moon her watch is keeping all through the night, while one half the world is sleeping all through the night, even when the sun comes stealing, visions of the day revealing, breathes a pure and holy feeling all through the night.
A bit of my theological background: I was raised Roman Catholic. I became a Wiccan priestess, and here I am as a Unitarian Universalist minister. Somewhere in the middle there. But when I was learning about the Wiccan ways, I was told that at solstice, the coven would gather and hold vigil on the longest night of the year, keeping a fire lit all night long to make sure that the sun would return. And I can just imagine the mothers and the fathers singing a song like All Through the Night to their sleeping babes on those nights, wanting to keep their children safe from disease and war and hunger. I often wonder what life must have been like on this land at this time of year before contact with Europeans. In my mid to late 30s, I spent several years keeping a fire burning, albeit in the comfort of a church basement with a fireplace. I would head out to the beach at sunrise to welcome the sun, and we'd sing and chant and be there. There was something that was transformative for me about being in that intersection of land and water and sky where they all meet. When that wheel of life turns ever so slightly, marking the turn towards the light. The few friends and I that gathered, that managed to stay awake through the night, would drum and we'd chant our excitement and delight that the light was returning. But we're not there yet. We're still waiting, aren't we? The thing is, though, from the number of holidays that exist at this time of year, I think Wiccans weren't alone in their observations. Light and dark are one of the major contrasting themes in the history of religion. Light has generally been a symbol of life and immortality, with darkness being the symbol of chaos. Many of the creation myths And I personally think the Reverend Carol Martin-Yaco's The Everything Seed is our Unitarian Universalist creation story. And if you haven't read it, I really do encourage you to do so. So in those creation myths, many start and end with darkness conquering light. And just for a more contemporary reference, think of Mordor in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, right? What I find fascinating, though, is how our various cultures around the world respond to and interpret light. For many, the need to gather in community becomes extremely important. As I said, pagans would gather in community to wait around the fires, keeping vigil. Kwanzaa is a celebration of family, community, and culture that takes place between December 26th and January 1st. Kwanzaa is centered around 5 fundamental activities that stem from ancient Egypt and Nubia, celebrating the first fruits of the land, which is what Kwanzaa means in Swahili, 5 fruits. This is a poem by the 7-foot poet, and I've done my best to do my research to find out who the 7-foot poet is. Cannot find it. So if you know, please let me know. So with that, here's a poem entitled A Kwanzaa Poem. It's about love. It's about life. It's about our culture, our family, our community, our genius, our birthright. It's about love. It's about life. We remember our glory and our stories. Yesterday's yesterday. Those that came before me. Today's today. Rebuilding our way. Tomorrow's tomorrow. Sunshine, good times, and learning from our sorrows. It's about love. It's about life. It's about our culture, our family, our community, our genius, our birthright, unity, self-determination, collective work, collective responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, faith. It's about love. It's about life. It's about our culture, our family, our community, our genius, our birthright. For the Chinese, the ancient yin-yang symbol is well known to represent the balance between light and dark, with the idea being that they are complementary to one another. You can't have one without the other. And you can't basically understand one unless you come to understand the other. It's from this school of thought that we have brought the idea of having a balanced lifestyle. So here's a haiku that illustrates this ever so nicely. Yin-yang state of mind. Dark needs light, and light needs dark. Opposites attract. This next song needs a bit of introduction. Back in 2020, Lynn Nugent and Pam Rickey and the Reverend Shelley Thompson met with Dorothy Tibbetts Gray and were presented with a bequest from her late husband, Bob Gray. Dorothy also donated a painting and a chalice pendant to be auctioned off, with the proceeds going to the music program. Bob, who was a Unitarian, had this guitar custom made by Mark Benito. Is that the right pronunciation? Okay, good, I've got it. A luthier from Ottawa. And he also inserted the lovely pearl marquetry of a chalice at the top, at the head of the guitar. And the back and the sides are Indian rosewood, and the top is Sitka spruce. The neck is mahogany, and the fingerboard and bridge are ebony. The condition of the guitar is excellent, and it has been professionally appraised at a replacement value of $7,800. So we're happy and excited to share the sight and the sound of this lovely instrument with you here today, to whom it was given. And we're delighted that Michael, help me out. Michael Brook, thank you, has agreed to play it today for us. Thank you, Michael. Right now, we're in the middle of the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, or the Festival of Lights. This is a festival that commemorates a struggle for religious freedom by the Jewish people from their oppressors about 150 years before the Common Era. When it came time to rededicate the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, only one vial of the oil needed for the rededication ceremony was found. And it took 8 days to make this special oil, and the lamp needed to burn for 24 hours a day, according to the cleanliness laws of the day. Each vial would only last for 1 day, and here's the miracle of Hanukkah that is celebrated, because they only had one vial, and it lasted for 8 days, long enough for new oil to be made. In the Gospel of John, Jesus is the light. But there's nothing about light within humanity. In John, Jesus saves us. He saves us because God loves us so much that we needed saving. Salvation comes through the belief in Jesus as the way, the truth, and the light. God became primarily transcendent, beyond humanity. God only comes to humanity through his Son, Jesus. Humans have no agency to save themselves. It all comes through God. This philosophy put Christianity onto a path of looking to God, rather than within the human heart. And our job then is to believe, and God does the rest. Not a lot of room for doubt or questioning here, or beliefs in other ways. And this thinking has led to the belief that one religious system is the exclusive way to a better world, both here and now and after death. It's an idea that has increased the levels of intolerance, war, and destruction in the world. And this is the God that Unitarian Universalists have come to have a strong distrust of. Because if you follow it through to its conclusion, the next step often seems to be to impose that truth on others or to treat non-believers as second-class citizens. Either way, it begins to oppress.
And here we are singing together a song called Angels We Have Heard on High. So for a song with maximum joy, we need maximum air. And I will invite us all, please, to rise in body or in spirit to sing this next carol. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why these songs of happy cheer? What great brightness did you see? What glad tidings did you hear? Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo. See him in a manger laid, whom the angels praise above. Mary, Joseph, lend your aid, while we raise our hearts in love. Gloria in excelsis Deo, Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Just saying, you all sound fabulous. So I think we need to be actively engaged in doing something different. For us as Unitarian Universalists, I'd like to put our chalice as our symbol for an alternative way. And I know last week I shared a little bit about the story of the chalice, but just as a refresher, as a religious symbol, it's a relatively young one, and it started in the Second World War. I was originally told that people fleeing from the Nazis would look for homes that had a lit candle in their window because it signified a safe place for them. The actual symbol itself was designed by Hans Duscht, who had escaped from the Nazis in Paris for drawing cartoons about the Nazis that did not depict them favorably. As you can imagine, the Nazis didn't like that. Hans had been asked by Reverend Charles Joy, a Unitarian minister, to design a symbol for the Unitarian Service Committee to help it make it look official, because we need official logos, don't we? And he borrowed an old symbol of strength and freedom from Czechoslovakia, a chalice with a flame, which was a chalice with a flame, and Reverend Joy was delighted with it, for as he wrote back to Boston, it showed the spirit of Unitarian beliefs, a chalice for giving a healing drink to others, a flame on top that represented the spirit and hopefulness and sacrifice, sharing the light of tolerance and freedom. As Unitarian Universalists, our practices at this time vary widely. Some of us stay at home and do their best to ignore the season, as I have done in my past. Others have elaborate tradition that they engage with families and friends and loved ones. Some decorate and exchange gifts, others do not. In this season of darkness, of waiting, of anticipating the returning light, let us remember in this waiting that however you celebrate, you are not alone. As we recognize our humanity, we stand with those, we are with those in need of healing drink and help. So in whatever way you celebrate, know that each time you light your chalice at home, each time you place a candle in the window, or a candle anywhere, you do so in the company of people who are celebrating light, holding it forth like a beacon, shining widely our love that comes from deep within our hearts, into our families and into our communities, and out into the world. May it ever be so. Amen. Namaste. Blessed be. Our closing hymn is by Jason Shelton, and it's Life Calls Us On. I invite you to rise in spirit and sing along.
Here in reverence now we gather for the blessings we have known, with a pledge to one another
I'm just saying, I love the dancing in the back. By all means, yes! It's just such a delightful way to end the service. Dare we look into one another's eyes and discover they're a friend? Dare we lower our masks and confess our humanity is flawed and still profess compassion for one another? In whose spirit do we congregate, or why do we bother to struggle and celebrate our common life? Perhaps it's in recognition of this truth. No matter who we are or why we're here, we all need each other to see us through. May the love of this season be with us through all the days of the year and give us strength and courage and faith. May the peace of this season be ever in us and bring us comfort and hope. May the light of this season shine in our hearts and bring us happiness and laughter. May the love that is in us be shared with others.
I invite you to reach out your hand like this. As the chalice is extinguished, imagine a spark of its light landing in the palm of your hand. And bring that light to your heart so that love may rest there. We are the ones who can shine a spark of light and love when the darkness seems to be all around. May it be so.
I invite you now to turn around. Let's wave to everybody on Zoom.